Nicholas. Thank you for coming.
Of course.
Oh, that's fucking hot. Good morning, Slop Nation. Welcome to Slop Chop. This is a new comedy podcast hosted by myself, Harvey Mulvihill. It is about the happenings of the internet, and it is your one-stop shop for slop. I'm joined today by a wonderful guest, Nick. Thanks for coming, man.
Cheers. Cheers for having me.
We're going to jump right into... So, YouTube Shorts hit 200 billion daily views. It was like yesterday they released this press statement. I'm curious, well, first of all, like, what are your slop factories? What do you use? Any apps?
Dude, I have to tell you, I'm a YouTube guy. I don't watch a lot of TV. I watch a lot of movies, but I like going to the movie theater.
Hell yeah, brother.
I will share a story about YouTube Slop or YouTube Shorts. I remember being with a couple of friends at my house, and we were watching a movie. There was something about the movie that we wanted to discuss, right? And I was like, well, let me pull up, like, do you remember this YouTube video, this YouTuber that talked about it?
It's like a breakdown type
like a
thing?
breakdown type thing or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember on my television, my smart TV has a YouTube app. So we went to the YouTube app, pulled up his YouTube video, watched that, and then it automatically somehow pulled us into shorts on the TV. And so me and two of my buddies sat there for a solid 20 minutes it was not a decision made to do this, but like all three of us got hooked on this endless scroll of YouTube shorts happening on the fucking TV.
Shorts in 4K is crazy.
Crazy, bro. Crazy.
That's
and
fascinating.
I had this like out of body experience watching me and my friends brain rot slop from YouTube shorts on my television, and I was like, what is this? This is like Idiocracy,
That's
man.
awesome.
This is crazy.
I love that. So yeah, I didn't even know the shorts came up on a TV. That's really funny. I was under the impression that YouTube Shorts were like the bottom of the totem pole. I think it still is, algorithm wise, which seems weird. My YouTube algorithm is pretty great at this point. I'm a big YouTube person, but I never use Shorts. But they are doing more views than TikTok. They are doing more views than Instagram Reels currently, which is nuts to me.
There's a lot of 8-year-olds out there.
Maybe that's why. Why it's all just like brain rot, AI garbage.
A lot of 8-year-olds.
But so I was looking into this a little bit, and TikTok still has much better engagement, meaning like people that double tap like or comment or something. It's more than twice the engagement that YouTube Shorts has. Mm-hmm. So to your point, kids are not going to be out here liking stuff and like, comment, and subscribe. They're 8. They don't know any of that shit. No. They're just being fed the algorithm. Yeah. And I've seen videos. I don't have any children really in my life, but there's like... But I've seen videos of like the iPad kids with the dual screens. They're playing a game on one iPad and then doom scrolling on the phone with one, and they're just like they're 3 or 4 and they're already That's a problem. Yeah, what are we doing?
That's insane, dude. Like
talk about my brain.
Talk about cooking your brain. Yeah. I mean, that's nuts, dude.
But yeah, so I'm impressed with the rise of YouTube Shorts. I think it's just they've been around long enough at this point to where it's sort of just become a bit of a household name. But honestly, I read this headline yesterday, and that was really shocking to me. I figured TikTok would be the go still.
Do you remember, like, when I was a kid, I got like seventh grade or something, probably younger. I got diagnosed with ADHD, and my dad's like he's like a good old boy country guy from, Justin, Texas, just total, he blamed it on SpongeBob. And then he was like, you're watching too much TV.
My parents called it the idiot box.
Yeah, you're watching too much TV.
Yeah.
And then those things came out about, I don't know if you remember, but SpongeBob's cuts are so quick. It changes, like they don't hold a frame. It changes frames every, 5 to 7 seconds. And SpongeBob was this huge, massive success, bigger than any cartoon ever. And you listen to it as an adult, and the sound of SpongeBob is so great. If you don't have the nostalgia factor, like if you just kind of like shut your emotions off to it and kind of just listen to it objectively, it's grating the sound.
Interesting.
But it's totally the same thing kids are listening to now. The skibbity toilet stuff. It's like it's got the seeds of all of that stuff in there, along with that really quick bam dopamine, bam, like hit it.
Yeah, I think a lot of cartoons that way, but SpongeBob especially, and there's something to be said for that because
This is not me bashing SpongeBob. I love SpongeBob.
you son of a bitch, don't ever come in here and bash SpongeBob.
No, I love SpongeBob. I'm a SpongeBob stan. It's just funny. It's just funny to me that now we've had this evolution.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of like, quicker and easier access to dopamine over time as it comes.
I read something. I said this on the pod a couple weeks ago, but I'll say it again. There's like an inverse relationship with dopamine received and energy expended. If you are not expending enough energy while you're receiving a crazy amount of dopamine, your brain hurts. It gets sad. So if you're like, I always like to say that, for example, if you're on a treadmill scrolling TikTok, you're going to be on there for 20 minutes and you're gonna be like, whew, like I'm good.
Yeah, that's
But
enough.
if you're sitting on your ass,
right,
doom scrolling, you can be there for 3 hours. Energy expended versus dopamine received. So my friend, like, it's good, right?
Yeah.
My friend, like every time he opens the TikTok app is like as a thing for himself. He just walks into his backyard and does laps around his pool. Just walks around his pool. And he's like, my screen time is decreased by hours just by doing that. Yeah. So this is something that I have not implemented in my life at all, but it's a good trick. It's a good trick.
I feel like phone's bad though. I feel like a lot of people say phone's bad. Phone bad
for sure.
Phone bad for sure.
Yeah, makes me sad.
Right.
But here's the thing: I have a podcast.
Should I talk to you about my experience with the flip phone?
Please. Oh yeah, dude, the dumb phone. We talked about you on the pod a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I had this realization. I was spending, like you said, too much time specifically outside of my home. I wasn't too concerned with my media consumption inside my home, but really outside my home.
TV shows and movies don't feel gross to me.
No.
It's only the doom scrolling.
No. I genuinely feel like we're hardwired to enjoy stories. Like, the hero's journey, Quest gets introduced, rejected, find a mentor, follow it to the very end. Acts 1, 2, and 3, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't like that I was never in the present moment outside of my house. And this was a long time ago. So I went to the AT&T store and I said, like, essentially, I have AT&T on my iPhone. Can I duplicate this phone into a flip phone? In other words, when somebody calls me, can it ring both lines? I said, no, that's not possible. You have to open up a second line. So I went to, one of the Metro PCS stores around here. I bought a flip phone, $50, something like that, and a month of service. And I said, I'm just going to carry that. Every time I leave the house, this is my outside of the house phone. This is what I'm bringing with me.
It's your burner.
It's my burner, yeah. And I supplemented that because I like a lot of the things that my phone gives me. I like the music that I carry around with me. I like the maps aspect of it. I like my camera on my phone. But I'm a photographer, so I have cameras. So I'm lucky in that. And there are times, like, let's say you're in a waiting room or something, there are times it's nice to have a distraction, right?
Many times,
yeah. So my daily carry expanded a little bit. I started carrying my little Fujifilm camera around. I started to carry my Kindle.
Nice.
And I carried my flip phone, and that was it. And music, NPR on the radio is fine. I learned the radio stations again.
Yeah.
I had fun listening to radio in my car.
97.9 The Beat.
I had this like experience in a grocery store in Central Market. Have you ever been to the deli at Central Market?
We were just talking about Central Market yesterday. Central Market is one of my favorite places on the planet. I fucking love it so much.
Yeah.
It is the number one place that once I have money, by the way, my stomach was just showing to it for that entire first 15 minutes of the episode, which is very fun. But that's what it is, boys. A slop. Anyway,
this is a sloppy pod,
This is a sloppy pod, brother.
Dude, what do you want, man?
What do you want from me? To not show parts of my body on this camera?
All bodies are beautiful. Show it. Yeah. Show it. Let it slide.
Central Market, I love dearly. The moment that I have a couple bucks in my pocket, bro, that's going to be the number one place that I shop. It's so expensive, but it is just, it's like there's grocery stores that are pleasant and like aesthetically pleasing to shop at. H-E-B, Central Market. It's the difference between Target and Walmart, right?
Right.
And like people love Target and they're willing to spend a couple extra bucks because it's nice. It feels good to shop there. Central Market,
lower
I think,
ceilings, kind of like, the
lighting.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's kind of a science, and it's hard to get right.
Sure.
Costco feels good the same way, but Central Market is, I think, the king of that.
Sure.
I love it.
And I mean, it's owned by H-E-B, so it's H-E-B's sort of like, I think years ago the H-E-B, had a deal with Albertsons or somebody that they wouldn't come into North Texas. They'd stay out of the DFW
That's exactly
area.
right. That's why for the longest, I would over year be like, yeah, HEB's coming to Dallas finally.
Right,
and it just would never happen over and over.
And it still hasn't happened.
Yeah, it's in Plano.
It's in Plano, right? Which if you live downtown like I do, that's,
that sucks. Good point.
But I still make the trek up there once a month at least. I mean, it's worth it,
My cousin called it Gucci B.
Yeah, dude, for real. I mean, it's the best grocery store on earth. But anyway, Central Market, one of the special things about Central Market to me is their deli section. So I go get my cold cuts, my prosciuttos, my sandwich meats, everything from that deli section. So when I'm on this flip phone journey, I walk into HEB and I'm standing there. There's a kind of a waiting time when I would normally, this is the time when I would normally pick up my phone, check Instagram, look at stuff, see, what's going on out there in the Slop Nation, right? And I didn't have it, so I was just kind of looking around, and like I struck up a conversation with a guy that was also waiting, and he was from out of town. He's from like Ohio or something, and he was basically saying like, this is the best grocery store on earth. And I'm like, yeah, it is. And you have to check out HEB. We had this great connection. He was in town to visit his son. It was like nothing important. Like I didn't walk away from that interaction with a new business contact or a new but it was a human moment that meant a lot to me that day.
That is what being a human is all about, is those little connections. And we're robbing ourselves of that with the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
I couldn't agree more with this.
I was like, I got in my car after leaving HEB or leaving Central, and I almost cried because I was like, how many of those have I missed? It was like that Dustin Hoffman when he dressed like a woman and went around town for a day and everybody treated him like shit.
Sure.
And he cried because he said, how many women have I treated like shit? Because they weren't attractive, basically. That's how I felt. I felt, how many of those small human moments have I missed? Because I just want to look at my phone, and I don't want to be verbal at that point.
And here's the thing: is that with the conversation with a stranger requires work, and it's a hoop to jump through. That you're generally speaking, this is pulling the phone out. It's the least amount of interference or whatever the word is possible. It's the easiest thing in the world to pull your phone out, and the dopamine is high. Yeah. So like you do end up with the dopamine by talking to the stranger, but you have to expend the energy. You have to do the work, and like it's 99 times out of 100, I'm going to choose the phone, and every time that I don't, I'm so happy that I didn't.
Right.
And even little tiny conversations, it's like scientifically proven to improve the way your brain works. It is a depression cure. Getting out of your house, talking to human beings. It's the last thing you want to do when you're in in a negative headspace. But there's a reason that old people do that shit, because they've learned over the years that it makes them happy.
See, it's also a risk. So like, you're being vulnerable.
You're also there's also always the possibility of getting trapped in a conversation, which is a nightmare, and it ruins the whole thing.
What about trying and the other person not being receptive to it and getting rejected in a social setting?
Does that hurt though? Like in the grocery store, is that hurting your feelings?
Dude, I mean, not in that context, right? But like, I feel like for a lot of people who aren't extroverts, like I think you and I are pretty extroverted. I think me for sure. I think for a lot of people who are introverts who try that, like people who are listening who are introverts are going to listen to what we just said about getting out there and talking to somebody and be like, oh no, like that's not me. You know what I mean? But
I'll take the opposite stance on this. I am an introvert for sure, but I force myself to get out of self constantly, and that is where the happiness is. It's scary, and it sucks a lot of times, but that's where the happy is, and this is not where the happy is. The doom scrolling.
Well, and so like, just to finish up, it takes almost like a other people have to be on board with it. It can't just be you going out there and forcing yourself onto other people, because other people are also dealing with the same.
You don't like forcing yourself on other people? I thought that was your whole thing.
I've been known. But no, I mean.
Sorry, go ahead.
But no, I mean, other people are also dealing with the same, like, pulling their phone out issue and looking at it. So, they're not always just going to want to have a conversation with you.
For sure. Can I tell you about one of the happiest times of my entire life?
No, I don't want to hear that shit, dude. Fuck no. No, dude. Let's talk about
doom scrolling more.
Yeah, no.
I was working at Enterprise. This is before, so my Enterprise arc, it started really good, and it got progressive. COVID hit, and then it was really interesting and kind of apocalyptic, and then it got really shitty towards the end.
Okay.
But this is when it was really good.
All right.
I was living in Dallas, working at Love Field as at the Enterprise there, and any airport sort of rotation with the company and any airport job, very high paced, very like do go, and there's another thing with like humans that if you go through hardship together, it brings you closer.
Sure.
And so you get really close to your coworkers, right? And I would just experience these 2 to 7 minute interactions with customers over and over and over and over and over, hundreds a day, right?
Sure.
50-75% of them were like nothing, like they're just trying to get in and out, like, hey, nice, whatever, take it easy. A couple of them, like, a handful of them were shitty, and there was like a little pocket where you'd have this incredible human connection. And it was a really kind of beautiful, unique situation because unlike other enterprise stores, most people are going to need to like return their car if they go to a normal enterprise location. At the airport, you return to an entirely different facility at Love Field.
Yeah.
So I will never see these people ever again as long as I live. So you have these like, I would just connect, like I would just ask them like, what their situation is, and it would get so deep so quickly, and then I would never see them again. It was incredible. And it's like there's almost no pressure on my end, which made it so way easier to put myself out there and ask them like, tell me about your life, tell me like what are your dreams and aspirations, and people, and they would always be taken aback like, oh Jesus Christ. But
listen to the Slop pod.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking of a podcast I'm going to start in 7 years. But yeah, anyway, that was the best. And then also what's funny about me is that like I know that was one of the happiest times of my life, and I am unwilling to recreate it. Like I know where the happiness is, and I still avoid it as often as possible.
Yeah, I mean, you can't look back, you can only look forward. That probably didn't at the time feel like the happiest time of your life.
Correct. It felt like life. It felt normal. It felt
just like life, right? And looking back on it, you're like, man, life was so good back then. That's okay. That's all good. What's next? Yeah, you find it again. You find it a different place. You know what I mean? I
really do think that the doom scrolling is a massive problem. I mean, I started a podcast about it, but like, this is kind of an outlet for the issue, and it's something creative. It's something to do. It's expending energy. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And so, I mean, it's a thing, but it is not the answer. But I don't know if we ever concluded your dumb phone story.
No, that was it. I mean, I went back.
How long did the experiment last?
It lasted a month, and then Metro PCS, which had told me when I bought the phone that it was $15 a month, tried to hit me with a $60 bill, and and I was just like, it's not really. That's too high of a price to pay.
That's fair.
$60 for happiness.
You're right.
I'm not willing to do it.
I'll give you $36.
Yeah, I think my cap is for peace of mind and serenity. My cap is about $25 a month. All right.
That's great.
For more slop, it's a lot higher, but for
hell yeah, brother. Yeah. Well, this slop is free, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go. With ads.
Yeah, I was curious. So, like, you didn't have that big of a sample size, but did you feel any different? I mean, you had the inconvenience factor, but did you get past that to any sort of happiness?
I will tell you that the first week or two, I was on a pink cloud. I mean, I was riding high. It felt amazing. That's when I picked up painting. I got used to not having a thing. I let my brain be bored again. As a professional creative, one of the most important parts of my day are the times when I can be bored, when I can let my brain sort of wander. That's when problems get solved. That's when, ideas happen. And I was just missing that. I was kind of work was coming in, I was completing it, and I wasn't doing anything else. You know what I mean? I was kind of handling what came in, doing the next, robot mode. And I just wanted to introduce some boredom into my life. So I stopped looking at my phone so much. I had a lot more time on my hands, and I was like, well, I need something to do that's for me. Everything I do is sort of with a purpose. I wanted something that was just for me, like for no reason. And I started painting over my photographs, and that was where that was born. And I'm not a painter. I've never painted in my life, and I didn't enjoy it. I've terrible ADHD, like sitting down and focusing on something for a long time.
You never painted before this?
Yeah, I painted in school, finger painting and stuff like that, but never of my own volition,
Did you go buy paint?
I did. I went and invested like $150 at Marshall's.
Nice,
got the
dude.
like artist Slop starter pack and the little easel and stuff. And I still don't do blank canvases. Like I don't like that's too much for me. But just it's helped me kind of construct it's helped me creatively. Basically,
I love that. I couldn't agree more about the boredom thing. It's something that like it's what every comedian that I respect talks about on podcasts, and people like you have to let yourself just sit and exist and think because and then shocker when you do it. Things come to you.
Sure.
You start having thoughts and like you're like, oh, what about this? What about that? And like, I'm depriving myself of all of that. But so if you want to send me some scans of the photos, I'll put them in the pod or the paintings. I'd love to show them off.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's really cool, man. I love that you're doing that.
I feel like my posture is awful.
You're fine. Yes, I'm always trying to I have to figure out how to position because I'm so much bigger than everyone. I mean, put people a little bit ahead.
What about man spreading?
That looks great. You look great, man. Don't worry. All right. Comic-Con was this week. There's some interesting stuff, I guess. We'll cover it briefly. I'm not as interested in the trailers and whatnot as I am in just the concept of Comic-Con and how strange of a sort of institution it is.
Yeah.
For everything that I've heard, my cousin or my uncle is a big comic book person. He's got a ton of like original like Superman 1, Spider-Man 1. That's his nest egg. These like original comics. And he was friends with Jack Kirby, the co-creator of the Fantastic Four and a bunch of people. Anyway, but he's like a big guy and he went to Comic-Con a handful of times and he's told me his experience. He's like, it's a nightmare. It's horrible.
Oh, wow.
It's body to body. You cannot move.
And those bodies are stanky.
They're stanky, brother. Stanky. So like, it's just like a zoo of human beings, and they just feed you marketing material.
Sure.
They feed you advertisements.
Sure.
You're there to see the new ad, and that's going to be online in 2 seconds after the thing.
And you pay to be there?
You pay a lot to be there, and not only that, but you're it's like hard to get in. It's really like a prestigious sort of thing. It's like a film festival, but for Marvel slop.
So because I'm totally unfamiliar, is Comic-Con? I thought like anybody could have a Comic-Con.
Yes, you can, but San Diego's the big one. San Diego's like the main one where you're getting these like you'll have studios come and do a panel. Like DC will do a Comic-Con panel.
Okay.
And it's it used to be, I think less so now, similar to your Nintendo Directs.
Yeah, sure.
There's when companies realize that they're big enough and they don't have to play around with the fucking G3 or whatever the gaming one was back in the day. Now it's the Game Awards, which Jeff Keighley shouts out. But when you're Nintendo, you're like, we don't have to fucking do that shit. We have a YouTube channel with 30 million subscribers.
Sure.
So let's just put a live stream out quarterly, and people will come watch our stuff, and we'll do announcements through that.
Yeah.
So that's the model now for them. I think Sony does the same thing.
Yeah, PlayStation does the same thing, and it's always disappointing.
Dude, I heard this recent Nintendo one was bad too. I didn't see it.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I don't ever watch them.
But we heard it's bad.
Yeah,
it's probably
but here's the
bad.
thing: you don't watch them either, because why the fuck are you going to watch a 3-hour live stream when you're going to have the information in front of you on your algorithm or on your Twitter feed or whatever?
Sure,
that's how the world works nowadays. So I don't get going to Comic-Con. I don't get it. But maybe I'm selling it short, and there's a lot of other activities. There's booths and where you can buy cool shit or whatever. The idea of being in an auditorium or a convention center with 200,000 people does not appeal to me.
Right.
It's brutal. So anyway.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way.
Let's get into these
Can I tell you a funny story?
Please.
When I before I became a photographer, I was kind of like kicking around Dallas, like just probably 2019, 20, 21. Didn't really have like a plan in my life. I was doing $50 a night concert reviews, but basically I was getting paid in free concert tickets to go there and say a few nice things about the show. And then like I have no training on music or anything like that. I just was, I thought I might want to be a writer, and I thought like, this would be a good avenue to sort of get to do cool stuff for free. And somebody, I can't remember what one of the photographers that I worked with or somebody was like, hey, there's an extra press pass for the whatever porn expo.
Oh yeah,
That
I've heard
came
of
to
this.
Dallas, dude.
AVN or whatever. It's AVGN.
It wasn't AVN.
Okay.
It was something else, but like that's like an award show or whatever. This was like no, just literally come.
Come.
Hang out. It was
Hey, come.
Hey, come to no, it was like go to the convention center and see porn stars, in real life. You know what I mean? It was the most bizarre. I remember Ron Jeremy was there.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then like I smoked cigarettes at the time, and I was out there smoking with like a pretty famous male porn star, who I didn't know who he was, and I was just like, this guy's a lot like buffer and better looking than all of the other like guys that are here for the expo.
Is he an actual performer instead of just like an old washed up legend like Ron Jeremy or something?
I think it was like he was like in between those two. I think he wasn't quite Ron Jeremy washed up, but he wasn't like in his I guess prime or whatever.
Sure.
But it was a bizarro experience, man.
What was the clientele like? What were your average people? Did they look normal? Because I am picturing no one below 350 pounds, just the grossest neck beards that you've ever seen in your life. Were they normal looking?
I gotta say I don't remember.
Didn't make an impression. Okay, if you probably would have made note of it. Were they disgusting, hideous wildebeests?
I mean, dude, these I don't think like the people who are walking the Katy Trail every day are not the people that were at the at the fucking porn expo.
Yeah.
I will tell you that much.
Sure.
I was semi uncomfortable. Then again, there was no like there was no nudity, believe it or not, on the floor. There was a lot of like implied. There was a lot of like technology there. You know what I mean? But there like sex technology was kind of the thing, but it wasn't like there were pictures up, everybody was clothed, or at least in a bikini or something like that. So even for like, I found it to be surprisingly tame for a porn. There's no porn at the porn star expo.
Yeah.
Very surprising.
Yeah. Maybe they're trying to tame these disgusting gooners down a little bit. They don't want just hardcore porn on the TV.
Yeah. I did see like I think protesters were the thing that kind of started. I did think it was funny. Like Dallas is a pretty conservative city, and to have that here,
that's really interesting.
Is interesting. I think this was pre-Trump, and I think we have seen a conservative movement in the country
for sure
since 2016. We're like it's a pretty Christian if you compare it to like the 70s. Even like the 70s was in the 60s, where I was watching a documentary about Woodstock 99.
I love that doc.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, half the girls were taking their tops off. This generation could never be in. There's too many phones, there's too many cameras. I totally get that, right? They had pay-per-view there at the time anyway, but like it was I'm not condoning what happened at Woodstock. There was some terrible stuff that happened, but I think
the whole thing sounds like a nightmare to me.
Yeah, but it does kind of showcase like where the culture was at then, with the music they were listening to, very anti-establishment, anti-corporate, get corporations out of here. This is a big part of their attitude. It was like, we hate corporations. Yeah. We hate anything corporate.
Yeah.
And now it's like
Elon Musk is the guy.
Dude, no, it's like Sydney Sweeney loses no clout for doing 25 brand endorsement deals a year. It's like she's in more commercials than she is movies.
100%.
She's taking money from Hey Dudes, soap, whatever, jeans, American Eagle jeans. Famously, which is pretty controversial right now.
I wanted to, just because you mentioned it, I'm gonna address that really quickly because it is slop that people have been talking about recently. Mm-hmm. It's interesting that it does seem, as a marketing guy I'm interested in marketing and fascinated by advertising. There's very few. Sorry, by the way.
You're fine.
First of all, I want to say I totally agree with your points.
Sure.
It is really interesting, the sort of movement that the country's gone in. It is weird though with the Sydney Sweeney thing, the jeans thing specifically. It does seem like every marketing push, if you don't have a little bit of controversy behind it, most people are not going to see it.
Sure.
And it does seem like that the little edge of controversial shit, you can play into that. I don't know if the American Eagle did. I think the American Eagle thing was pure ignorance.
Sure.
But it reached 70,000 times the eyeballs that it would have.
Sure.
It's a national news story, and the old no bad press. There's no such thing as bad press,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That is not true. There is bad press.
Sure.
You can be a toucher of kids. That's not good for your brand.
No.
Right. But with Sydney Sweeney, or specifically American Eagle, I haven't thought about American Eagle in years. And suddenly they're in my timeline. I'm like, oh yeah, American Eagle. Like just that is big. And so I'm fascinated by that. I think brands are wising up to that and have wised up to that, especially with the controversial shit. I've talked about this a ton on this very podcast, but I love, I don't know if I love it, but there's brands on TikTok and Twitter. I swear to God, Wendy's was the first one to do this, that just tweet out like, or comment on on random people's TikToks, nothing related to their, just like a normal comment, like,
right.
Hey, nice video.
Yeah, social media manager like makes a joke about it, like
exactly.
This is the
but
blank,
it's from the Rolls
Slim
Royce
Jim
brand.
account.
Slim Jim
right,
account,
yeah.
exactly.
Rolls Royce would.
I could not think
totally
of a fucking
different.
brand that is my recall is so bad. I was like, oh, the first thing that came to mind was this luxury brand that would never do it.
Rolls Royce famously only advertises at airplane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
they're not on TikTok commenting on people's.
Right,
can you imagine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
until they start selling a keychain or something that people can afford, you know, like which brands do.
Keychain.
Yeah, like BMW starts selling T-shirts, you know, because the people can't afford a BMW, they can afford a T-shirt. All luxury brands, most luxury brands, at least LVMH, like most of their sales, the bulk, 80% of their money comes from their lowest tier price-wise items.
Really?
Yeah. So like they have the purses and they have the big, you know,
luxury stuff,
keynote items, right? Keynote or marquee items. They have the marquee items. That's what defines their brand. But not everybody can afford, you know, an Hermes $30,000 Birkin, but they can afford a bracelet for $600.
Nice.
You know, they
sure.
can afford, and so that's the entry price to that brand.
That's different though than a T-shirt. A T-shirt is advertising for the brand, and you run the risk of selling a thing for $30 that any schmuck can wear. You know, and then you have like Trailer Trash wearing Gucci T-shirt, and that hurts the brand overall, right?
No, because they sold a T-shirt and they made money off the T-shirt.
Fair enough.
They tried that back in the day. I don't know if you remember this, but Louis Vuitton, I think it was, and if it's not, I mean, don't like get mad at me, Louis Vuitton, if you're watching this.
They will be watching this. They're big fans of the pod.
Famously, I think Louis Vuitton sent Gucci purses to the cast of Jersey Shore
That's really funny.
To connect that brand with
trash,
with that people. I think now looking back with nostalgia glasses, Jersey Shore is like beloved, and you know, and I think like it's a little bit different, right? We're in a place right now where celebrity is celebrity, and celebrity is God in America.
And reality shows are still if bigger than they used to be. Even I think if the Love Island people all got Gucci would shoot up, and even though they're, you know, they're idiots or whatever, but they're still on Love Island.
Not to speak on, I mean, as somebody who's in advertising and spends a lot of time in ad creative, I don't want to speak on the politics of the American Eagle ad. I can speak on the creative side of it.
Please.
Visually, I thought it was boring. I thought that it was a really bad ad. I thought it was not, the photographers were probably great. The videography, everything like that was fantastic. I just thought that it was a really poorly it was well executed. It was poorly conceived. I don't want to touch on the politics of it. Obviously, it's gotten a lot of eyeballs. There's a flip-flop example of that though. In advertising that was extremely creative, extremely well executed, also very controversial, and also got a lot of eyeballs. Do you remember Jaguar's rebrand?
Of course.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything past that, but that was huge.
So when they say all press is, this is what I say. about stuff like that. And I'm not an expert on this. I know a little tiny sliver of it, but when they say something like all press is bad press, that can be true. Or I'm sorry, no press is bad press. Excuse me. That can be true, right? Jaguar did that ad and it brought a bunch of eyeballs to their company, right? Good and bad. Fox News was tearing it down. Jaguar's gone woke, whatever. It just brought a lot of attention to them. If they had come out with the best car on the market at that point, like the ball was in their court to shut everybody up, but they didn't. They didn't.
I haven't even seen any of the new Jaguars. Is there like, do you see them on the streets?
No, I don't see them on the streets.
Yeah.
Well, their sales had tanked for a long time. They needed a rebrand.
Yes.
Right. They needed to go after. It was an old man's car.
Yeah.
You know, similar to a Corvette. It was an old man's car. You know, and then less and less sexy as time went by. You know, I still think Jaguar is an iconic British brand, but the idea that, like, okay, if you're going to get all these eyeballs on you, you got to come with a product that's going to revolutionize it. And it's the same thing with these, like, you're going to have this massive controversy, double down, stand 10 toes down on your ad, on your creative, and put out the same fucking American Eagle stretchy jeans you've been putting out for fucking 30 years that rip the third time you wear them. It costs 25 cents to make in a Chinese factory.
Isn't that easier to do? And wouldn't you, when you're the marketing manager and you go talk to Mr. CEO, man, you can say, listen, we're going to do a rebrand. We're going to do an advertising campaign. We don't have to change anything. We just have to change the outlook, the eyeballs on it. I find that, you know, it's gross, of course. It's like, not cool and lazy and cheap, but it is a tactic that a lot of people use as a cost-cutting measure.
That's not a rebrand then. That's a marketing campaign.
What's the difference?
A rebrand is what Abercrombie and Fitch has done.
Yes, I agree with that. But would you call the Jaguar thing a rebrand? Because
yeah, because they were going after electric.
Right.
That's the key thing.
Yeah. So they're changing their product, actually.
They're changing their product. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Gap's gone through a rebrand because Zach Posen's the new creative director. He's amazing. He came from Burberry, I think, and he went to Gap. And they've been doing some really cool stuff. I mean, their cuts of their jeans are high fashion. They're incredible. People are wearing Gap again. People are shopping at Gap again. You know, and they didn't change their marketing.
Nice. Okay.
They changed the clothes.
Fair enough. All right. I like that distinction. That's fair.
And it's not like they didn't, keep in mind, it's not like they used better factories. Like, they're still
children slaves.
Yeah, they're still manufacturing in the traditional way, which I can understand. It's cost prohibitive to manufacture in the United States, period. It's cost prohibitive to manufacture ethically, clothing specifically. But that shit's hard to do. Have you ever tried making a t-shirt?
No.
There's no such thing as unskilled labor. I mean, your Hanes t-shirt that you buy at Walmart to throw away, that somebody sewed it, you know, somebody spent time, at least, you know, 30, 45 minutes making that t-shirt, you know. We have this idea that it's all machinery, and maybe Hanes is. I'm not familiar with, you know, Hanes and those kind of mass-produced, you know, companies. But making clothes uniquely is hard to do.
But yeah, you're 100% right. I don't know. It's silly. It is silly of certain people to assume that you can just start a factory in America right away and create, you know, an entire clothing brand. It's silly.
There's a happy medium, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, Comic-Con, it's a thing. There's a bunch of trailers.
Sorry, I derailed the conversation.
No, please. This
Comic-Con.
is what it's all about. I don't care about 99% of this. It is getting a spin-off television show. Welcome to Derry. Really rolls off the tongue.
Is it a Max original or an HBO original?
I have no idea.
If it's a Max original, it's trash. All those Max originals are garbage.
Dude, it's so funny, the distinction there.
The one exception is probably Peacemaker. Peacemaker's pretty good.
Season 2 coming out. There's another trailer that dropped.
I'm stoked about that, especially after watching Superman.
Yeah, dude.
Like, whatever. I'm a stan. I don't care. I'm happy that they're finally good DC stuff out.
In interviews, James Gunn is constantly being asked what's canon and what's not because of like especially Peacemaker, which started in its transition. He's like, well, season 2 is canon, but there's also bits of season 1 that are canon.
Right.
And like it's all just a hodgepodge. It's silly.
Yeah. But I mean, you know,
Oof, Spinal Tap
I
2.
can be if you're autistic and you feel like you need it to be black and white, what's canon and what's not, you know?
Sure.
Like,
Also, if you're the guy, you have to choose.
Right.
Like famously, when Feige came into Marvel, he was like, or excuse me, Sydney Sweeney, Kathleen Kennedy decided with Star Wars, like, none of the extended universe shit. All of it is not canon,
right.
which was a big move that pissed a lot of people off.
Okay, but to be fair to her, there was some weird shit in that stuff.
She made the correct decision.
You're right.
It is impossible.
Come on.
It is impossible to keep track of all the shit that's been out there. There's hundreds of authors.
There's one book where they come to Earth.
That's awesome.
Jedi comes to Earth.
That's awesome.
And I know you had to make that book at one point, you know, but no, that shit should not be part of the. Of
course.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. There's goofy stuff in the new canon. There's like Rebels is in there. I rewatched Rebels pretty recently.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that this one group of kids, you know, okay, y'all didn't get away from them. Y'all didn't get away from Thrawn that many times, bro. Come on. Like, Thrawn, if we're supposed to believe Thrawn's this badass, but y'all got away from him every single time, and he's this tactical genius.
Yeah. My issue with that is when you combine, because Star Wars is such a broad medium. You have Andor, which is like legit prestige television for adults, and you have Rebels, which is a children's show.
Yeah.
It's YV11 or whatever the rating is, and I'm sure it's good. People have said it's good. I have no interest in it whatsoever. And like Clone Wars, I still struggle with. Like, maybe I'll eventually watch that. People love it. You love it. I know you love it.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's like, it's so broad, and I just like a little bit more bite in my media, generally speaking. There's I had an example for this, but fuck it, I can't remember. I can't think of it. Let's move on. Spinal Tap 2. Where are you at with? I have an opinion on this.
Okay.
There's only 2 good legacy sequels, and it's Blade Runner and Top Gun Maverick. Blade Runner 2049 and Top Gun Maverick. You could make the argument The Force Awakens is a legacy sequel. Do you know the term? Legacy sequel meaning this happens 10, 20 years after the thing. It's starring the original cast. It's usually like a passing of the baton to the new people. That's generally speaking what happens. I hate that Ghostbusters Afterlife movie. I hate the oh god, all of them. Like, name a sequel that's done that, and it's very popular. I do think with hindsight that The Force Awakens really opened a floodgate, and this is sort of like, if you have a franchise that hasn't been popular in a while, reboot that shit, get the original cast, pay them all a buck, like the Jurassic World.
I just watched one. I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh, how was it?
Bad.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, teen slasher, whatever, forgettable as hell. It did have the girl from The Studio in it, who I loved. She's fantastic. She's great. A lot of great talent. The guy, one of the leads of that film is going to be in the new movie Him.
Oh, I'm
He's the star of that movie.
I'm excited for that.
And I'm so stoked for that.
Hell yeah.
I can't tell you how much I did not care about that movie. I went and saw it because I can see movies for free.
Hell yeah, brother. Alamo. This is now an ad for Alamo Season Pass. You should
Alamo
get that
Season
shit.
Pass.
It pays for itself.
It pays for
itself. If you see one movie a month, it's worth your money.
Yeah.
Literally one. Can you see one movie a month?
I will say that, okay, now that never mind. I never mind.
Okay.
I love Alamo. I will say this. I will say this.
They're paying us, by the way. Be careful.
If it was any other theater, like the AMC A-lister, right? You can go see movies. It's great. It's fine. It's whatever. Alamo uniquely, you can give me the ticket for free. I'm still going to spend $40 because the food, the popcorn is $12. The giant bowl, it's bottomless. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Soda's $7. You know, it's expensive. It's expensive to eat there.
For sure.
You know what I mean? But I have to. The food is good.
And they bring it to you. They bring it to you. You put a little order card up and they bring it to you. Like, just the fact, because I totally agree with you, and that's the reason that the season pass exists, because they're betting on you doing that.
Yeah.
And the AMC is doing the same thing, by the way. But AMC is so much less appealing to me because it's hot dogs and popcorn. And sodies, and it's all expensive, and you have to fucking wait in line at the beginning.
And and the thing about Alamo that I love, and maybe other theaters are doing this, maybe they're not, I don't know, because I'm pretty Alamo loyal.
Hell yeah, brother.
They're darker. The movie theaters are darker. The sound is louder, to a fault sometimes. Sometimes you can hear the movie next door, but That's worth it. If you're in that movie next door, if you're in the loud movie, it's worth it.
Yes. What Alamo can't touch is the IMAX or what's the other one? The Dolby Atmos. Those screenings are killer.
If there's a spectacle that you need to see on IMAX, go. We're lucky enough to live in Dallas where we have an actual IMAX theater.
Yep.
Go see it there.
Agreed.
If it's a Nolan or even Sinners, I watched Sinners on IMAX.
Dude, the aspect ratio changes.
Yeah, it was great.
Unbelievable.
Oh my God, it was great.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, so I think, Alamo's done so much work recently on revamping their company, putting in the recliners and tearing out the old shitty chairs and, just smoothing over the edges.
But it's not a rebrand.
No,
I don't think so.
I wouldn't even call it a marketing push. I think neither of them are true. It's just an improvement.
Just exactly. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but shouts out to Alamo. We love you.
Yeah, we love Alamo.
Yes.
Huge Alamo stands. Spinal Tap, couldn't care less.
Couldn't care less about Spinal Tap 2. I will say it's directed by the same dude who I cannot remember right now. But yeah.
Don't care.
Show me a third good legacy sequel. I challenge you to do so.
I'm sure people out there are excited because they love the original Spinal Tap. I'm not. I don't care. I never saw it. It's not for me.
It's a classic. Whatever. Yeah. It's on my list. New Alien game, Invincible versus Gen V. Did you watch The Boys?
Oh yeah, I know Gen V.
Yeah,
I know Gen V.
I watched the first.
I went to middle and high school with that girl.
What?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was she? Did you know her? Like.
I mean, I was good friends with her little sister for a long time.
All right. Fuck Comic-Con. Whatever. Good. God love you if you're into it.
Yep.
Let me know in the comments if you're interested in the Comic-Con thing or if I should give a shit. Give me let me know in the comments. I always appreciate the comments very much. It helps new podcasts get off the ground. If you're on Spotify or YouTube, leave your boy a comment. Tell Nick that he's doing wonderfully because he is. Or
you can say whatever you want. I'm fine. I don't care.
I demand nice things about Nick. All right. I would like to talk about your recent purchase, my good friend.
Mm-hmm.
My boy here has purchased a Switch 2.
Yep.
If you look back at this very channel, this Slop podcast of mine, the first
premiere episode
was about the Switch 2.
Yep.
The announcements. And I'm a Nintendo boy.
Yep.
I love it. I will eventually own a Switch. I think I'm going to ask for one for Christmas.
Woo.
And I didn't have a whole lot of interest in this new Donkey Kong game. However, you've been playing it.
I've been playing it.
Tell me.
So good. Just so we're clear, I love a 3D platformer. I love it.
Me too.
I don't have time to fucking make my character, spend 80 hours locked into a menu. I'm busy, okay? I work 50, 60 hours. I'm employed, all right? I don't want to learn. I don't want an associate's degree in your mechanics. If I play a game like God of War or Spider-Man that has fun gameplay, guess what? I play it on easy mode because I don't want to learn all the tricks you can do. I just want to beat the shit out of people and keep playing and enjoy my story and enjoy my life, okay? What I love about Nintendo is the games are fun when you pick them up. From the minute you press start and you're controlling your little guy, it's fun. Then you can put it down, not touch it for 6 months, pick it back up, and guess what? It's fun again.
Hell yeah.
It's fun again.
Hell yeah.
Those games, sometimes like Baldur's Gate, these
Elden
big
Ring.
Elden Ring games, you got to be 20 hours in, and then you can be like, oh yeah, I'm having fun. Not so with these 3D platformers.
I totally agree. And also the thing of putting it down for a year and coming back. When I do that with a big RPG, I'm like, I don't fucking remember what I'm doing.
And then you don't even play it because you're like, I don't remember what buttons are
I play
this.
I play it for 3 minutes,
Yeah.
or I'm like, maybe I should start over, and then
I've done this many times.
Skyrim.
The intro.
I've done the intro to Skyrim
is so
70 times.
Brutal.
Yes.
So
and you get to
brutal.
know it so well because you keep
Yeah.
wanting to relive the magic of that original playthrough experience,
Yeah.
and it never hits the same.
Knights of the Old Republic is my favorite game. They have it on every platform imaginable now. You can get it on your iPhone. It's Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic from 2004. It was an Xbox exclusive back then.
Nice.
But now you can get it on your iPhone, iPad, Switch, whatever. And like I have specifically made save files right past the intro level that I can go back and pick up again.
Smart.
Because I hate
the tutorial
terrace in that level terrace in that game. But anyway, Donkey Kong.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it is Super Mario Odyssey. So because you're
I was trying to get it. It's the same developers.
It's same developers, right? Yeah, same developers, same people that made it. You're getting your little MacGuffins as you go. In this case, it's bananas, right? The smash mechanic is so fun. Little autistic boys are gonna and girls are gonna love this.
Hell yeah.
If you like Minecraft, you'll like this game. If you like Super Mario, you'll like this game. It's like a marriage of both because it's complete. You're the Switch 2's sort of like, I guess, bigger processing size lets you can literally destroy an entire level.
It's wild.
And take it down. And I've already watched YouTube. People have already done it on YouTube.
Yeah, like killed every single piece of dirt.
Yeah, picked it up and taken it down to its bare bones.
It's nuts.
Right? It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
To build like I'm picturing any 3D platformer built on breakable material is can't imagine. I can't think of another game that's like that.
I don't know of any.
Yeah.
And I mean
Minecraft's not that way because it's not a well choreographed, developed level.
To be fair, I never actually spent much time in Minecraft.
Me neither. But Minecraft is an open procedurally generated anything world, but it's not like Mario Odyssey where like the moons are specifically placed in that's what Donkey Kong is.
I think they are like, well, what do people like about this new Zelda game? And it's the fact that you can sort of do anything in it, right? You're kind of like, yeah, there's the story and stuff, but you can also like use the mechanics of the game to do crazy things.
I remember that being so revolutionary. It was super relevant when Breath of the Wild came out and every surface was climbable.
Yeah.
100% of the surfaces in the game you can climb over. That doesn't exist in other games.
Yeah.
And now that seems to be Nintendo's philosophy.
Yeah. And I mean, it's, so I'll give you an example with Donkey Kong. There's not to give you too many spoilers. Spoiler alert if you haven't played it. But this is all I'm going to say. There's a racing part. Okay, it's a part where you race thing. When I first got to that level, I thought you had to start the race to get to the racetrack, right? You can see it, but you have to start the race to get to the racetrack.
Yeah,
right?
Go talk to an NPC.
You have to talk to an NPC, it transports you there. And then the racetrack is all there is, right? And then once you're done, after playing around with it, I found that you can access the racetrack without being in a race, right? You can just
hop on it
and get there. And I was like, oh, I wonder if the developers intended for us to like spend time on this racetrack, like it. And then, sure enough, there's like things that you can only access on the racetrack without being racing. So it's like they meant for you. Not only did they like anticipate you getting there, they put little rewards.
I love it.
I
love it. That is my favorite thing in every game. Is I love exploring, and I love my two like main loves in gaming in general, broadly speaking, exploration. Tentpole number one. Tentpole number two is like upgrading a base.
Yes.
Or like if you have a base of operations that you can spend money on to upgrade.
Sure.
I don't need both those things in every game, but I love those two things. And exploration, like Breath of the Wild is amazing about this. Tears of the Kingdom, obviously. Yeah. But there's when I was playing Last of Us 2, and I would go the less trodden path. You go the other side of the stairwell.
Right.
And you expect a thing to be there.
Right. Yeah.
Because you put the effort in. And I would playing with my cousin, and I would do these like she's like, there's nothing over there. I was like, there might be.
Yeah.
I would go walk over there. There's nothing. I was like, God damn it, reward me. I'm trying to explore your game to the fullest. Like reward me. And so when developers put things there, it is my favorite thing on earth. I love that.
Totally. There's a lot of that in this.
Sweet.
There's a lot of that. There's a lot. Yeah. I mean, it's a big swing. It's a big swing, and they nailed it. Yeah, they did.
You know who swings? Monkeys.
Ooh.
First joke of the episode in this comedy podcast. This is like 50 minutes in. Dude, that's awesome. I'm
also not very funny, so I'm not like the best.
I disagree completely.
I'm not like
Also, I have not been trying to be funny very much in all this. I've just been interested in this conversation, which is fine.
Okay, yeah, good. I wouldn't sound like an idiot.
Dude, you're fine. You're doing good. Look at these new shoes you're wearing.
I do have new shoes, man.
Those are awesome. Show them off, baby.
Yeah.
Killer.
$40. Let's
JD. Get it.
On sale.
All right, so here I want to talk about my YouTube. I love a man by the name of SkillUp on YouTube, one of my all-time favorite YouTubers. I don't miss an upload. He's one of those guys. He is a weekly series called This Week in Video Games, where he just gives you the news about that week in video games. Sure. It is extremely well researched, well thought out, takes likely hundreds of man hours to make this show every week. He puts it out 52 weeks a year. It's crazy. That's awesome. But then he also does game reviews, right? And I want to look up just so I can get a frame of reference. He's given out very few, the equivalent of a 10 out of 10 in his on his channel. He calls them, or I very strongly recommend is the very strongly recommended playlist is what I just clicked on. There's very few of them on here. Donkey Kong is on here. He gave it basically the highest rating possible. Claire Obscura was the last one he gave. I heard that game is incredible. Tears of the Kingdom,
Astrobot,
Final Fantasy, yeah,
Astrobot's
the shit.
Astrobot was so fun.
I love it.
Yeah,
I borrowed your scenes.
Yeah.
Of PS5 just so I could play Astrobot. It's funny because of all the PlayStation exclusives that have come out. That was the one where I was like, I gotta play it. I gotta play it. I'm a 3D platformer guy. I love them. So yeah, that is like the best 3D platformer I've played in years.
Yeah.
It's since Odyssey probably.
Sure.
And Bananza is on this list. So I want to give a shout out. You guys should check out this channel. It's fantastic. His reviews are incredible. They're really well thought out, well researched, and yeah, Claire Obscura looks incredible too. But that's a gigantic RPG and a tough sell, like you were saying. A much easier sell is Donkey Kong. One other point that he made that I thought was interesting is that, I don't know if you've gotten all the way through the game yet. I'm not going to spoil anything.
Go ahead, but yeah.
This what he said was that most developers, most people that make games are going to front load their game with the best content.
Sure. Because
people are more likely to play the first 20 minutes of your game and less likely to beat the thing, right? Donkey Kong does the opposite. Donkey Kong starts with like, it's kind of, I hesitate to use the word mid, but less excellent levels.
Sure.
And it gets better as it goes along.
Yes.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's a tough ask for, it's like, that's rare.
Yeah.
So apparently the last level is the best by a long shot.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the last level is because I keep getting to a thing where I keep hitting a point in the game where I'm like, this has got to be the final boss. And then there's more. And then there's a new mechanic. And then there's like, you know what I mean? So,
it does the Odyssey thing of superpowers, right? You collect like different abilities.
Yes. But I think it's that was a huge part of Odyssey where you throw your hat on something and you get its abilities. This is, there are fewer of them, but they're more fleshed out, I guess. Okay. So there's entire levels built around, just like in Odyssey where there's a little piece of every level sort of built around this new, mechanic that you get from capturing a thing. This has the entire, you have, 5 to 6 hours of gameplay based around the power that you unlock.
Nice.
For the next. And then it comes back, right? So like when you're going up against a boss later, you can try different strategies. You can be like, well, if I'm this character, this is what I'll do. If I'm this character, this is what I'll do.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nice.
So it's fun.
That's fun. Yeah. Another point that my beloved SkillUp made, which I will now parrot to you, good sloppers, is that, oh fuck, I forgot the point. We're moving on. Fuck it. All right. Yeah, so you recommend the game. I take it.
Highly, highly recommend.
I will be playing it. I'm excited. Okay, I found it.
All right, here we go.
I remember it. We just spent 15 minutes off camera fucking trying to get me to remember this shit. All right, so this there's the Switch 2 is like a weird sort of odd duck when it is the fastest selling console in human history. It is the number one fastest selling console of all time.
Did not know that.
It sold like 60 million units in 3 days or something absurd. Way more than anything else that ever has, right?
Even the Switch 1?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Massive success, the Switch 2. Gigantic success. And here's the thing. There wasn't really, this is the reason I didn't buy it on day one. There wasn't really a huge flagship launch title like a Breath of the Wild for Switch 1 where I'm like, I have to get the fucking Switch because I want that game. This is again, I'm parroting SkillUp's point. His point was, had Donkey Kong been released on day one everyone on Earth would have been talking about Donkey Kong. Everyone would have bought it, and everyone would have been talking about it in the same breath that they were talking about Breath of the Wild.
Sure.
So like it is on that level. It has the jizz, the swag, and like it
has
was probably
the jizz,
just
Harvey?
it has the jizz.
Okay.
And it doesn't have like for whatever. I think probably it wasn't ready on day one. I don't know why they decided to wait. Maybe they wanted everyone to buy Mario Kart.
The Mario Kart bundle.
Mario Kart is not a flagship. It's not like a console seller.
You don't think so?
I'm not buying a fucking I didn't buy. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but I did not buy a Switch 2 because I like Mario Kart, but I'm not going to buy a console to play Mario Kart. I have Mario Kart. I get that it's good, but they're not Breath of the Wilding Mario Kart.
I think you and I, as childless 30-somethings, are excited about a game like Breath of the Wild. We are not Nintendo's target.
Very good point.
It's like Star Wars. Nintendo makes stuff for kids and families. Mario Kart is a family game.
Good point.
It's only fun. I would say it's not only fun, but it's primarily fun with more than one person. That's where the game shines, obviously. Obviously.
Yes.
And multiplayer is built into the system. Like from day one, it ships with 2 controllers, right?
Yep.
So I think us sitting here saying Mario Kart's not a system seller, it's just not meant for us.
You're right.
You know, that
Very good
system,
point.
I would almost say that Nintendo puts a lot more of their time and energy into those types of games. Mario Party, Mario Kart, Super Mario Smash Bros. What's that series even called? Smash Bros. Super Mario Smash?
Super Smash Brothers.
Super Smash Brothers, whatever. Those types of games, you know, those are their big. And then like, yes, there's going to be a 3D Mario game. Although this generation, maybe it's Donkey Kong. Maybe Donkey Kong's taken that from them.
I would be shocked if they don't come out with a 3D Mario. But the team has been working on Donkey Kong,
right?
Like the Odyssey team. So maybe they have another team working on something else.
Yeah, that'll be totally different.
Yeah,
who knows?
maybe.
Who knows?
The kind of 2D hybrid things don't appeal to me at all. The 3D Land or you know what I'm talking about. It's like there's a run of you have your main title flagship Mario games, your Galaxy, Sunshine,
right?
64,
yeah.
Odyssey. Those are like the main ones, and there's also like this kind of parallel sort of path of
like 3D Mario World or something like
exactly,
that.
yeah, those things. And I've tried them before. They do not appeal to me whatsoever.
No, I don't even like I'm not of the generation that did the 2D side-scrolling Mario either.
Same.
It's not my vibe.
Yeah, too old for it.
Yeah, too young for it.
That's what
too
I meant.
young
That's what I
for
meant.
it. Yeah.
Okay, well, with that, Sloppers, I will be buying a Switch too, and I hope to see you with one eventually. I don't know. I'm excited to play Donkey Kong. You brought it over.
The only other game on there that even tempted me was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, which I could get on that or PlayStation or whatever.
Yeah.
The new 3 and 4, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4.
It's crazy they ported Elden Ring. Elden Ring is playable on Switch too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cyberpunk, a lot of those games
Cyberpunk
actually.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
why
have
would you?
time.
Also, yeah, I agree. But even if you did, I don't know why you would, unless you were only a Nintendo slop enjoyer and you're like, hey, I've heard a lot about. I don't have any other console. I don't have a laptop or whatever. Yeah. I can see that, but I'm not that person. Let's move on.
Okay.
All right. So we want to talk about basically our 2 professions.
Sure.
Mostly because they're kind of brethren, right?
Sure.
Photography and videography, very similar. People constantly ask me if I also do photos, and if I do still.
Same for me. I am constantly saying that no, yes, I can direct, but I cannot shoot your video.
Sure. I say the same thing. I know a great photographer. Yeah. I cannot shoot photos.
Yes, yeah.
And it's a different skill set.
It is.
And but tell me about I'm curious about your entire. Nick is a professional photographer. That is his full-time job. I'm curious about your entire, like, the history with it, where you started, how you got here.
I came to photography really through, again, I remember mentioning earlier in this podcast that I was kind of kicking around town, not really having much of a focus. I was walking down the street in Deep Ellum, and I wandered into what I thought was a bookstore. And I just walked in, and I started looking at the titles on the shelf, and there was a guy in there making coffee. And I was like, oh, this is cute. This is kind of a little It took me like 2 or 3 seconds before I realized I was standing in a man's apartment. He had he had a 1-story apartment next to a bunch of shops. He left his door open, and I just wandered in.
Whoa.
And I said, "Wait a minute, dude. I'm sorry. I walked into your house." He said, "It happens all the time. Don't worry about it."
What?
Obviously, Deep Ellum was a different place. This was 10 years ago. And so we struck up a conversation. We started having, we had some coffee, and we're just talking. It turned out that the guy was a professional photographer. That was his full-time job, which at the time, ding, 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 that's fucking cool. I want to do that. I want to tell people I'm a professional photographer. That's really what got me into it, was not like, I had never really picked up a camera. I was kind of like nervous about them, for the most part. They're big, they're bulky, they have a lot of buttons. What do you do with it, But I was like, wow, this guy's a professional. Turns out he was kind of a big fish in Dallas. He was doing a lot of the charity events down here. He was photographing the society. He was, his dad was a famous photographer, and then now he has carried the torch. And he was really well known. Well, he got me. He said, "Hey man, I really like your personality. I think you're probably pretty good with people. Can you go shoot these events for me? I'll pay you $20 an hour." I go to a party in like Highland Park Village, cameras on auto mode, flash facing forward. Hey guys, get together, click, that kind of a thing, right? Somehow I found a way to screw that photography up. The photos themselves were awful, even though the camera was all on automatic.
That was your first time doing it.
It's really my first time. But all of the ladies, the rich ladies at that party, sent word back that I was a delight, that I was awesome, that they'd love to have me at the next one. They didn't care that the photos were bad because I was fun. They liked me, right? The guy that I was doing that work for basically said, "Look, man, I can teach you how to hold a camera and shoot it. I can't teach you how to make rich ladies like you. Like that's a skill.
Hell yeah.
Like, you can do this if you want." Yeah. You know what I mean? And that was my first, it kind of clicked, So I went out, bought a camera, started practicing. I really got good at carrying the swag like I was a photographer, but not, actually being good at the skill of photography.
Hell yeah, dude. It's confidence just like anything else.
Sure, exactly. You kind of fake it till you make it with that kind of stuff. I've always been good at faking it till I make it, right?
Hell yeah, dude.
Really still, I'm still considering myself an artist and a people person. Like that's what I take, portraits of people. I don't shoot still life. The technical aspects of the camera really don't interest me that much. Mm-hmm. It's very much about creating a story, creating a scene, and then capturing that, right?
I have the same thing with videography. I have no interest in being a director of photography, like a DP, because the technical stuff is mind-boggling.
Right. Yeah. No, for sure. I think you need to learn a basic level before that, especially if you do want to use lighting outside of the camera, and if you don't want to pay a lot of people to do it for you, that's kind of it's kind of a necessary evil. You do have to look, but beyond that, it's just about pushing your imagination and getting more and more interesting things in front of the lens. That's the camera's only capturing what's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me say, I'm very impressed with your photography. I think it's fantastic.
Thank you.
If you guys, just go ahead and plug your Instagram right now, because I was going to do it later, but please.
Sure. It's just @nick.sanders.photography. That's it.
It is legit. I can personally attest to the quality of these. He took headshots of me, which I know are boring and like whatever corporate-y headshots, but they look great. And I've seen like the more creative, artistic stuff that you have on Instagram is fantastic. It's top notch.
Thank you. No, I really appreciate that. I think that people are. I do have a little bit of a TED talk I could give about this, but I think people confuse art with craft a lot of times. I think people who are photographers,
they get lumped together in middle schools or elementary schools.
Arts and crafts, right? Right. Yeah. No, I think if you're a wedding photographer, that is a craft. Okay. You are not an artist. All right. And I think if you get offended by me saying you are not an artist when you're doing weddings, then you are under appreciating what a craft is. All right. A person who makes a chair is not an artist. He's a craftsman, right? A chair can be art, But art has a very specific definition in my eyes.
Sure. Utility.
Yes.
Or the craft would
The
have
lack
utility.
of utility
Yes.
is actually one of the defining features of art.
Sure.
If you're using something, a craftsman made it. If
Yep.
you're taking a picture, now there's commissioned artwork, that's a different thing. That's somebody hiring you for your eyeball, your style. It took me 10 years to develop a style. And I'm not talking about a fucking Lightroom preset. I'm talking about a style. The way I approach a scene, the way I view something, that's my style, right? It's a part of my childhood that leaks through in every photograph. And I like the idea that having never met me, you can see a picture of mine and another picture of mine and tell that the same guy took both pictures.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's a style. Am I an artist? Yes. Am I also a craftsman? Yes. I still have a wedding photography company. I don't consider that art. I consider that a craft. You're doing something with somebody else's vision for money.
I love the distinction. That's really interesting. I think the lines get blurred a little bit when you talk about people that are full-time. Well, I guess would you consider a DP a full-time artist or a full-time craftsman or somewhere in the middle?
DP, you mean?
Director of photography. Like the guy that's shooting movies.
That's a craft.
Yeah. But
That's a craft,
But you're
bro.
helping to make art.
Sure. The end result is art, right? I mean, I totally get that part of it. When I hire a lighting director on my set, a gaffer, essentially, is he the artist or am I?
Yeah, he's a craftsman.
He's the craftsman. And at a certain point, we're both craftsmen. I think that I have a very narrow definition of art. First of all, art has no other purpose than just to exist. Art's political, always. Art is always political. If it's not political, it's a craft.
I hesitate to art. The term art feels lofty and
Sure.
pretentious a lot of times,
Sure.
but there is like a truth to that. There is a massive truth to that, and like I would never call this podcast art because it sounds pretentious, but
Right.
by that definition, it's not a craft. Like it exists.
no.
It exists to exist. So
Right.
yeah, or like a YouTube video or something like that. It's again, I would never use the word because it's like it's hoity-toity.
Sure.
Right, but
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean it is. I mean, by my very narrow definition, when I create a piece of art and try to show it to somebody and evoke a feeling, that's a little bit different than when you came to the studio and asked me to do your headshots for you.
Absolutely.
Maybe people understand this, right? If you take a paintbrush and paint a fence, you have no problem calling that a craft. Mm-hmm. But if you take that same paintbrush and put it on a canvas, that's art, right? The camera is just a paintbrush. That's all it is. So if you're using that tool to create something that is meant to exist outside of its cultural context and just be a thing, that's art, right? If you're taking it to document something or you're taking it to, you can commission. So like the greatest artists in the world all do commissions. They all do corporate commissions, At that point, they're using their artistic eyeballs and skills to be a craftsman, but that's still a craft.
Interesting. You're creating. Okay, yeah. Well, then, all right. Then your definition gets blurred a little bit. Then, like, there's art at North Park Mall that exists to serve a purpose of like creating a vibe. Would you consider that craft?
What do you mean by
North Park is or any mall, most malls, any airport, like Denver Airport is full of art.
Sure.
And they're trying to create a vibe, right? They're trying to create an atmosphere. And when you, like you said, if you hire a legit professional artist for that purpose, I mean, he's creating art, but it's for a purpose. It has
Sure.
a secondary thing.
Sure.
It's not. It doesn't exist to exist, or maybe it does. Maybe like just the vibe of the vibe isn't necessarily a secondary. I don't know. We're kind of getting in the weeds here.
We're getting a little bit in the weeds. Let's backtrack a little bit because I don't want to. My stance is that that's not. My stance is not that that's not art. It is art, right? I definitely want to make a distinction between wedding videography, wedding photography,
For sure.
portrait photography, portrait stuff,
Yeah.
Senior portraits, family portraits, weddings, birthday parties, that kind of a thing. And the actual creation of a piece. I think
Totally agree with your definition.
I'm in a lot of photography Facebook groups, and these wedding photographers will all call it art. They're like, "That's my art. That's my art." It's not your fucking art. You exist. Your work serves a client, right? That client, it's that client's art. I mean, ultimately, right? They had the vision. They're the one. You're a craftsman. They want those pieces reflecting how they decorated the fucking church that day. Not, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I totally get it. I like it. So what is your ultimate goal with photography? What would you like? Would you like to be one of those commissioned artists that people hire and put your stuff up? Or would you like to tell me I'm putting words in your mouth?
I mean, I'm already there. I am, I'm doing, campaigns on a national level and a local level. Ultimately my goal is to continue doing that bigger and better every year, just making, more money, bigger projects, more creative projects. I do have what I would consider a fine art aspect of my business, which are my mixed media, my paintings over my pictures. So if I'm ever going to put something into a gallery space, it's going to be that, I'm really loving the marriage of that, the nostalgia of a lot of my work has to do with childhood.
Yeah, I was gonna say the painting over it's synonymous with your style.
Yeah,
it works perfectly.
I mean, I had a pretty traumatic, fucked up childhood. So a lot of my painting, when I paint over one of my pictures, it's typically like the way we look back on our lives is sort of with rose-colored glasses. We can kind of approach our memories and say that was a great time when maybe it really wasn't. If you see it through somebody else's eyes at the time, maybe it wasn't such a great time, and maybe it wasn't a great time for you either. A lot of my work evokes nostalgia in that way. That's kind of what I've been playing with right now. Playfulness, childhood nostalgia.
Hell yeah, man.
That kind of stuff.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. It's really cool.
Thanks.
I'm happy that I know a legit artist in my real life. Like, I don't know. It's cool. Like, it's fascinating to hear your take on it.
Yeah.
It's dope. I have the exact, I wouldn't say the exact opposite, but videography is purely exactly craft for me.
Sure.
I don't put any artistic merit in it. It's factory production, creating corporate videos. That's what I do. That's like how I make most of my money.
Sure.
And
by the way, I make most of my money on the craft side.
Sure.
Almost all of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I'm sure that's probably a very common trade-off for most artists. Are doing it. They're still doing the thing, but it's,
right.
It has a utility. You can sell it. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have any aspirations to be a full-time videographer for the rest of the time. I'm doing it because, honestly, I started doing it because I wanted to make a YouTube channel.
Sure.
And I wanted to learn the skill and have pretty 4K footage. I wanted to learn how to edit and create jokes in the edit and stuff like that. And that is still my ultimate goal.
Sure.
I still would love to be like a YouTuber. The podcast is excellent. I love it. It's less artistically fulfilling than sitting down and I haven't done this in more than a year, but sitting down and spending a lot of time on one project and making it funny and making it energetic and making it interesting is very fulfilling.
Sure.
It's awesome.
Sure.
The problem is that it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
And I've said this before and I'll say it again many times, but the reason that this podcast exists, mostly I've always wanted to do it. I love podcasts, and it's also, there's an inherent weekly deadline of having to put the thing out regularly.
Yeah.
So it's forcing me to create. I mean, this is it's not quite as, like I said, it's not perfect.
Yeah.
There's rough edges. It's just bullshitting into a microphone and then editing that down, right? But it's something. It's doing a thing, and doing anything is better than doing nothing.
Sure.
Right. And I'm wrestling with the idea. These are the thoughts that I have constantly, and I repeat them many times into these poor fuckers' ears. And there's also a part of me that's maybe I shouldn't diminish what I'm doing. Maybe I should just embrace it and be it's cool that I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I think it is cool that I'm doing this, for the record.
I agree. people don't really want to strive anymore.
Yeah.
People want to look like it's all easy to them. People don't want to strive. People don't want to fail. People don't want to like put something out there that sucks. And unfortunately, that's a necessary part of being good at something.
Brother, 100%. Those are the basically my opening words on the first episode of this podcast, which I do not recommend that you watch because it is fucking unlistenable. It's 3 months ago.
I watched it.
Thank you for watching. But 3 months, like I go back and listen. I just out of curiosity the other day, I went back and clicked on the first episode and listened to about 2 minutes. I couldn't stomach it. It was just like, but there's already been so much growth that's happened.
But that was the best that you could do.
Exactly.
Then.
And also, I started the thing by saying I'm willing to suck at this.
Sure.
I know it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
And like, there's only one way to get good.
Yeah.
Most, if not all of my favorite podcasts dumped the first 100, 200 episodes, just threw them out or like put them behind a paywall. They're like, start at 201.
Yeah.
Because that's when we started getting good. And like, I'm on episode 17. So, you know, like it's going to take time.
This is the best one yet, by the way.
100% the best one yet, brother. Are you fucking kidding me? We're talking about art. So anyway.
Slop, dude. Slop. Straight up slop.
My aspirations are all creative that way, but it's being on camera.
Sure.
It's like creating YouTube videos, podcasts, acting, all that shit. I got to feed the ego, and that's
By the
what
way,
I intend to
know
do.
my statement that I'm gonna probably clip from this show, which is that, you know, wedding photography is not an art. When I said that, I knew that that's gonna be the hook to something, a short that I'm putting out or something like that. Dude. So like, I'm playing the slop game just like you, right? Like I'm bad at social media. We're all bad at social media, but like I'm trying to. It's all just like, what kind of incendiary opinions do I have?
Hell yeah, dude.
You know what I mean?
This is what you do, by the way. You clip that those 3 seconds. Wedding photography is not art. You put it right at the beginning, and you put the clip.
Yes.
You put the clip behind it.
Yeah.
I've seen that. So the hook.
Yeah, wedding photography is not an art. Yeah. And
I'll
if
do it
you
for
think,
you.
I even said it in a way where I feel like it's gonna fucking.
Hell yeah, man.
Whatever.
I love it.
Don't put this in.
It's fine. I think it's fine.
The
The behind the
inside
scenes stuff is
baseball.
fun. I think it's fun. So, what do you? We had to cut something. It doesn't matter what it was, but I'm curious what you think about like just AI slop and art, because it's in your profession.
Yeah. I think like this. So I was watching this YouTuber that I watch, who's a high level commercial photographer. And he shoots food, and he does advertising. He does this. He's in the same line of work as me. He does it at a very high level though. But he shoots for like you've probably seen some of his pictures if you're looking on a popsicle box or something.
Nice.
His conversation with AI advertising artists. So the people that we are all afraid of taking our jobs. He had an interesting conversation with a guy who does that.
Takes jobs.
Who does AI art for advertising at a high level.
Gross.
Yeah. What he found interesting was the high level AI art takes the same amount of time and costs the same amount of money as doing a photo shoot. Believe it or not.
Okay.
A 2-day photo shoot for 10 pictures at a high commercial level can cost upwards of $80,000. That same content generated through whatever method they're using to generate that stuff. I don't know that much about it, but somebody who's able to produce that stuff at that level charges the same amount of money, and it takes the same amount of time. I can't tell you, I've been on commercial sets before, just when I first started out, just as an assistant. And the conversations on set they sound like this. Take a picture. There's not enough light on that tomato. Can we move one of the scrims down, maybe bounce a reflector to get a little bit more light? I want that tomato to look brighter and redder. Okay, yeah, let me move it. And then the lighting assistant goes in there, spends 5 minutes moving things around, take another picture. That's a little bit better. Can we fix it a little bit more? And everybody's got to have an opinion, right? So it's the whole team's looking at the laptop, all making suggestions. We're trying it out, and it's a back and forth. That is one thing that AI cannot do. If you say, this picture is great, but I need more light on the tomato, it's going to fuck it up.
Yep.
It's going to fuck it up. It's going to generate a totally different thing.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to do it at that at that high enough level takes such an expert actual artist, not artist. Cut the part where I said artist.
Not cutting that. That's fine. I know what you meant.
An
AI slop producer.
Yeah, AI slop producer. Yeah. To produce it at that high level.
He's so worried. They're coming for you, Nick.
Yeah. No, I know. I mean AI, look, if you're making stuff with AI, you're not an artist, you're an art director because you're telling it what to do.
I think even that's generous.
Sure. No, for sure. I mean, that's the friendliest way you can say it is like I'm directing this thing to do it, but it's not. It's also plagiarizing.
Yeah.
By definition. Yeah, by definition.
Yeah, man. I that's fascinating. I do think, this is the argument that everyone's going to have in their head, so I'll just go ahead and voice it.
Go ahead.
It will get better though. That's what everyone says.
Sure.
It will get better though. And
Yeah.
maybe now it costs $80,000 to do the thing, but eventually it's going to be fun. Maybe that's true. Perhaps that's accurate. And
there's a story about Kodak. Kodak, I think,
Kodak
invented
Black,
the
the
digital.
rapper.
No, yeah, Kodak Black, the rapper.
Mm-hmm.
Kodak invented the digital sensor.
Okay.
But then they said, no, it's just a phase. Digital photography is not going to catch on. Film photography is here to stay. And at the time, digital photography was trash. This was like, I don't know what year it was, but it didn't get good until like 2010.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So film photography was still, even through the early 2000s, the better, more professional way to shoot something,
Sure.
right? But and CGI is a great example. CGI actually is probably even more the practical of getting something done on CGI was at one point, and this is where we're at now, more expensive
Yes.
than doing it practically on camera.
So much so that there was a beautiful kind of 10-year period when filmmakers would avoid it at all costs
Sure.
and do things practically.
Yes.
And so all those movies hold up beautifully, and every time they cut similar, like a Jurassic Park.
Yes.
The T-Rex scene, iconic, incredible.
Yeah.
99% practical. Like when,
Right.
when it gets dark, that's when you get your CG or whatever.
Right.
The only thing stuff that doesn't hold up is like the original whatever. I'm getting too in the weeds. Please continue.
No, you're exactly right.
But yeah,
I mean,
we're at the point now with AI where like the turning point, and everyone knows that. Everyone's on the same page about this, especially corporations. That when you slap AI on your company balance sheet, or like this is our future plan. We're an AI first company now.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like sometimes it doesn't play well, but most of the time you get hundreds of millions of dollars injected into your company, and everyone's trying to be first in line to this thing because they know, like similar to ChatGPT. ChatGPT was the first to do it, and now everyone fucking uses ChatGPT, right? Or most people use ChatGPT, and like even there's like a Google. Google has one. I'm sure Yahoo has one.
Yeah, right.
Everyone's got one.
Yeah,
Meta, X, AI, all that shit.
Surprisingly, Apple doesn't have a good one.
That's a fascinating topic.
Surprising, yeah.
Really interesting, the Apple thing.
Yeah.
Because they did this whole marketing push for Apple Intelligence, and then they just didn't deliver. Yeah. It's so odd.
It's weird.
They're $3 trillion company. I don't understand why that's. Anyway, Apple's weird. Apple's a weird anomaly that way. Maybe I think they just hedged. They just decided not to do it. It's so odd after doing the whole marketing push. Really strange. But most people use ChatGPT because that was the first one. So there's so much value to being the first guy in line.
Sure.
And that's the way every company is just trying to be like. That's why you get. This is maddening. So fucking crazy to me. There's a news story from a couple weeks ago. Instagram is implementing AI accounts, totally artificially run accounts, bots that will comment on real people's Instagram photos. They're speed running the dead internet theory.
Dead internet.
Yes, they're speed running it. Yeah. And it's like, who is that for?
Yeah.
Who could possibly want that? They're just like they're in a boardroom like chiefing cigarettes. Like, how do we get this AI thing to work? What could we possibly make? Well, maybe AI accounts. What do we have accounts? We can put AI. We can make them robots. Oh, fucking no. Like it's maddening, dude.
Yeah, and it still looks bad.
Yes. It looks really, really bad. It is getting better. There was a time when I thought that we had kind of hit a peak because AI, like you said, is plagiarism.
Sure.
It's stealing. It's just scouring the internet for any data that it can and scraping it and making it part of its whatever algorithm, right?
Sure.
And then once you have a bunch of AI garbage slop out there, then it starts scraping that
Sure,
too. So it's
sure.
kind of it's like a snake eating its own tail, and
Sure.
it never really improves past a certain point because it's like, oh, this is what a burger looks like.
Yeah.
This is what a mountain range looks like, but it created that and it doesn't know.
Yeah.
Right. But it has in fact improved to the point where like some of the videos, it's the same thing with CGI. In the dark, it looks pretty good.
Yep.
There's a video that actually every once in a while.
It'll get you.
It'll get me.
Yeah.
It gets me.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not old
Right,
or
yeah,
whatever. I'm
right.
like, there's a whole generation of people that are getting fucked by AI currently. But
Dude.
I thought I was smart enough.
Dude, there is a guy. My accountant who's like a diehard libertarian, which is the type of accountant you want. You know what I mean?
Sure.
He does not like paying taxes, but anyway, he does it though. He just doesn't like it. But
Everything's above board on this podcast here.
he came in and he said, "Did you see that?" Who's the White House press secretary right now? The blonde chick,
lady. Yeah, I know her.
whatever her name is.
Yeah, lady.
We'll say her. I can't remember her name. Whatever. Did you see that she went on the Ellen show and demolished Ellen? And I was like, John, the Ellen show hasn't been on the air in 5 or 6 years. And he said, what? No, I know she went on the Ellen show.
Wow.
Like, what do you mean Ellen is it? I'm like, John, yeah, no, there's no Ellen show. Like, she's been canceled. Like, there's none of that. And what he found was an AI voiceover taking separate clips of whatever that girl is in an interview and Ellen DeGeneres and didn't play sound coming from it. He just narrated this thing that never happened. And it was like done like a news, like a recap, a news thing or something like that.
Yeah.
You know? And he was totally fooled by it. And I've seen like 2 or 3 of those pop up. And I'm like, yeah, that didn't happen. There's one of an AI voice of Adam Sandler talking about how Rob Schneider is his best friend and shouldn't have been canceled by the woke left for being a Republican. And I was like, it's super easy to tell that that's not Adam Sandler talking in it. That's an AI voice. But like the comments were all like, Adam Sandler's the best guy in Hollywood. Like he's so great for sticking with his friends. I'm like, dude, not that he's not sticking with his friends, but he didn't fucking do that. He didn't say that.
Yeah.
You know?
You're putting words in people's mouth is gross. But
the idea of like, today I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna pretend to be Adam Sandler and I'm gonna like give him some positive press today is so strange to me.
It's really insane. Really, really insane. Yeah, and a deeply unhealthy individual that created that. But the only way this changes is legislation. They don't have to pass legislation. Here's the thing. They have to enforce the plagiarism law that's already on the books. They don't have to pass legislation. Sure, but what I mean is we're way past that. I think AI is here. No one's like there's not what I mean is like there needs to be.
It's never going to happen, but that's all they have to do.
There needs to be a hashtag AI similar to when you have to disclose that it's an advertisement. Or something like that.
Yes.
Where like if it comes down from the top, like this is law. We will fucking prosecute your ass if you're Meta or Twitter or whoever. You must make your people do this, or like we'll come after your ass. Then it will just happen, and you'll have the hashtag AI, and that's going to smooth over 70% of it. You're still going to have the ones that don't. Like there's still advertisements that don't use the hashtag ad thing.
Sure.
But you know, and boomers will always be tricked. They're fucked.
Sure.
Boomers are fucked.
Sure.
But when I get tricked, that's when I get worried.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that I have, by the way, been tricked and not known, but there's been a couple of where for a few seconds I'm like, oh wow, and then I scroll down to the comments and I'm like, this is clearly AI. I'm like, oh fuck, and I scroll back up. I'm like, oh god, it is AI. And of course, I do that. Like, yeah.
For some reason, whenever I see like that, you remember that kangaroo at the airport video and the bunnies jumping? I saw those when they popped up, and then I saw later that they were AI generated. Here's the thing. When I first saw them on my feed, my body rejected the video and I scrolled right past. I was like, whatever this is. And it's not that I knew that it wasn't real. Yeah. I just like, not interested.
Sure.
And normally, like if it was, you know, and I was just like, yeah, this is not a topic that interests me. Bunnies on a trampoline, don't care. Yeah. I kept going, right? Yeah. And I think it was like, I think like there's some sort of almost uncanny valley aversion to it that is just embedded in me naturally. You know what I mean?
I was about to say those words.
Really?
That was beautiful.
Really?
I was literally about to say Uncanny Valley. That was incredible. We're in synchronicity here.
Synchronicity, that's a corporate word.
It's a corporate word. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think, the danger would be when it does interest you, or when there's a thing that is of interest. And like, but I do see what you mean. The Uncanny Valley thing. I have the same thing specifically with the bunnies jumping on trampolines. That was the thing that got me for a few seconds. And then if you keep watching, you're like, oh boy. But yeah, it's just going to improve. But here's the thing. I'm powerless to stop this. I have no say in this matter. So I will simply just report back to you sloppers, if there's any interesting developments or whatever. But it is what it is. Like, we're here. It's here to stay.
Life goes on.
Exactly. And it also doesn't disturb me too terribly much, to be totally honest. I'm more concerned for my old relatives, and like, you guys got to be, there's a great like PSA ad. I don't know if you saw that, of like, it's just like, oh shit, here I am in fucking New York City. There's a missile coming down. Just kidding. It's not happening. I'm AI. And they do that over and over. There's an alien coming out of the ocean.
Yeah.
No, there's not. Grandma, this is AI. That stuff, that's the type of thing is helpful. But I do think legislation is the only sort of path forward to a future where people don't get tricked constantly.
Dude, how very neoliberal of you, dude.
I don't know what else you would do. What else is the option? What else is the solution?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Solve it.
I have one more TED Talk about AI to clip. At one point, we were hunter-gatherers. And the amount of work that we actually did throughout the day was maybe 2 or 3 hours of actual work. Have you read the book Sapiens?
No, tell me.
Okay. At some point, somebody had the bright idea of agriculture. Hey, this is a great idea. We don't have to move around anymore. We're going to stay in one spot. We're going to grow our food and raise our animals, and it'll be great, right? Sure enough, the work day got longer, and the wealth got concentrated up a little bit. And then the same thing happened a few years later with, the next technological advancement, all the way up till the Industrial Revolution. And now we're in the technological age. And it just seems like the implicit promise behind all of this advancement has been, hey, you're not going to have to work anymore. You're going to get to, this system is going to take care, the washing machine will take care of all your washing needs so you can sit in the garden and write your poetry with your kids playing around in the flowers. What a beautiful image, right? I won't have to wash my clothes by hand anymore. This machine's going to take care. I can use that time to grow closer to my family. But it's always a lie. It's always, the rug gets pulled out from under you. You end up working more somehow, and you end up like poorer as a result relative to, where the wealth actually ends up. And I just feel like this is another example of everybody saying this thing is going to make your life better, but the end result is actually going to be the wealthy people who own the AIs and the robots living in a dome a mile high, and then like we're in Battle World, literally fighting over the chance to go up there and massage them or something like that. That those are going to be the jobs now. The philanthropic wealthy are going to hire actual people to come up and run their spa.
Yeah, the robots don't give very good foot massages.
Sure, whatever it is, right? Or maybe they do, but like you have like 1 or 2 benevolent billionaires that are like, I want real people. Real people deserve to work.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, what is that? Yeah, it's just wealth inequality, I guess. It's just everything
wealth
goes to the very top.
Yeah, definitely a part of it. But the implicit promise is that we're all supposed to, like, yes, there's these things we have to do throughout the day to make a productive society, but we're all, what we really should be doing is writing the next novel, writing our memoirs, spending time with our kids and grandkids, and like enjoying that community to the fullest, maybe traveling and seeing the world, but like the things that promise that, hey, we're going to take a little bit of this workload off your AI is going to write your emails now. You don't have to spend time. You can get your boss is not going to let you go home at 2:00 to see your grandkids because AI wrote all your fucking emails for you. That's not going to happen.
Correct.
It's just not, and I'm not sitting here like trying to, turn people into communists. That's not my, it sounds like anti-capitalist propaganda, but it's not. But it's just like we've been lied to so many times about what the next achievement is going to do for us, and somehow it's always been a lie. Every single time it's been a fucking lie.
Yeah. Why would this be any different?
Yep.
Good point.
Yep.
And I think what maybe makes this different to take the opposite counter approach or whatever, devil's share or whatever the thing is.
Sure.
This AI specifically, like the ChatGPTs, the language learning models, have in fact made people's lives easier if they are students or. By the way, it's not to say nothing of robbing them of an education or whatever. Like it has in fact smoothed over the edges of writing emails, writing a fucking thank you letter. People that don't have those skills are using it for that reason. Or there's a million, ways to use the thing. I use it semi-frequently.
Sure.
But so like I do see the sort of the appeal of it, and it does seem like a Pandora's box situation where the cat's out of the bag. There's no going back, and people, once you get a little taste of an easier way, they're going to jump on it. However, with that said, I do agree with you completely that there's no ultimate end goal where we're in a workless, chill society. We'll be feeding the robots, shoveling the robots the ashes of our fallen.
We used to write letters to people. The telephone got invented. It was a fantastic invention. All of a sudden, you can communicate with grandma without getting on a wagon and going on a 3-mile journey. How did we start the podcast? About how bad the telephone has been. So, I'm saying I'm not technology bad, AI bad all the time, cell phone bad all the time. I'm not. You have to make it. I think I have to make an effort, to say, I did enough today. I want to enjoy my life. I want to enjoy the things in my life that like make life worth meaning. So for me, it's spending time with my wife, maybe playing a little Donkey Kong, maybe doing some painting, maybe doing some art, maybe meeting people, going to a nice dinner, something like that. That has to be an intentional part of your day. Whereas maybe it used to be something that happened, as a normal course of operations, right?
I have an opposite option for you.
Go ahead.
You could sit down and have paintings fed to you through a sort of like brain chip.
Oh yeah.
And then you could have like a robot wife that would kind of do your every whim, like clean, suck your dick, chill. I don't know. This is too much. I was going for something that was too much. It was too rude.
I want?
No, but I like that is the ultimate goal of these goddamn tech billionaires is to just smooth over everything that in life that brings us joy.
They're so weird.
Replace it with slop.
And those tech oligarchs are so weird. Have you watched Mountainhead?
No, I need to. I love Succession.
Watch Mountainhead. The guy fucking studied these guys like interviews for years to learn how they talk. Watch Mountainhead. These people are fucking dweebs. They're nerds, and they got bullied, and they deserve to keep getting bullied.
100%. And it is frankly disgusting and deplorable to me to like hire someone to rebrand you, Mark Zuckerberg, to make you like cool and hot or whatever. I guarantee you, he hired a fucking PR firm and was like, make me appealing to look at, like change the way I appear to these people, and like it does. Of course, they're dweebs, man. They're freaks. They're freaks.
Nerds, dude. They're nerds.
Yes, and they're the richest, most powerful people.
And I'm hating from outside the club, obviously, right? But like,
yeah. With that, sloppers, I think we need to wrap it up. Anything else you would like to say, Nicholas, before we wrap here? Thank you for coming on the pod.
No, I don't have anything else to say.
You did very well. I really like your takes. I totally agree with everything that you said.
Thank you.
And you get the Slop Chop cosign. Much love, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Sloppers, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Go follow Nick on Instagram. What's it again?
At nick.sanders.photography. nick.sanders.photography.
Hell yeah, dude. Thank you guys for listening. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
God love the Slop Nation.
Yes, sir.
Next week. Bye.
Adios.